sicko, I'm a freak. You should let me off the leash. All I wanna do is party, all I wanna be is free. You can lie back and just watch me if that is your type of thing. I'm a sicko, I'm a freak. I'm a sicko, I'm a freak. I'm a sicko.
How's it going, Ready VIPs? It's Bebop here, and I am super excited for this Ready VIP Live. Joining me here at Dark Hall Coffee is none other than Pretty Hard Music himself. How's it going, Wyatt?
I'm doing well today. Thank you for having me.
You have like a medieval, like a kind of dark motif that comes along with Pretty Hard Music. Where does that inspiration come from?
So my aesthetic, the Gothic and medieval aesthetic, that is a newfound thing as I've experienced a lot of trauma in the past few years. And I was living in solitude, which is why I crowned myself as a king, for a long time, doing inner work, shadow work, and shedding light on things that I know I need to improve on to be my whole self. Really, I just wanted to share that same mentality with the world, let my fans know you are kings and queens, or if you don't want to be a king or queen, you can be whatever character you want. But at the same time, please know that my fantasy is always rooted in reality.
Awesome. I like the aesthetic. I saw your recent visuals for CASTLERAVE as you were slowly dripping them out leading up to your album. What was the inspiration behind that? Because, it kind of takes you through a journey.
Yeah, so looking at the track list, they're very provocative song titles. I personally, because I come from a conservative background, I love shock value and I love being authentic and I love being bold. And I encourage everyone to be bold as long as you're not hurting anyone else. We should coexist, and I will continue to push positivity, sex positivity, and multiplicity with my craft.
Let's get into the track list. Let's talk about some of those songs, because you're right, some of those songs are pretty provocative. It also takes you through a journey, just like your visuals. It starts out Phantom of the Opera style with some piano.
Long story short, the album I classify it as a mythical allegory.
Okay, love that.
It took me a long time to really put it into words. I had to make sense of it and process it myself. Making music is very cathartic. And so my story is about a king who lives in this castle in a faraway land called the Shadowlands, which is one of the track titles. The story starts out, he's playing his piano in solitude, writing his music in his castle, along with a small little black cat, Luna, which is actually the name of one of my small little cats.
Oh, I love that.
Love cats.
I have a black cat too.
Nice. And so then the story progresses, shifting into the perspective of a young girl. She doesn't have a name, which I like to leave open for interpretation, so anyone could feel like they're that character. And so they are exiled from their village, the same way as today people are pushed out of their communities for who they are and embracing their authentic truth. And they go through these shadowlands by themselves, these dark forests, the unknown. It's a huge metaphor for fear, essentially. And they learn to, stereotypical phrase, befriend their demons, befriend their shadows, make friends with the dark. So as they progress through this journey, they hear that piano coming from the castle, and the music speaks to them. And so then they find themselves at the doorstep of this castle. So the door opens, and there is the master, which is myself. This is a stranger. He welcomes them into his home, and they start to see there's other guests inside. It's a party. It is a community. It is CASTLERAVE. It is a rave. And it's just like it used to be, paying homage to back in the day. It's these illegal raves that are being held outside of the public eye. And it's nothing at the end of the day other than positivity and community. And that is really what the album means to me.
Awesome. That's a bold statement, considering some of the names of the songs are kink and submission and off the leash. But I can see it as you listen to the album. there's definitely an empowerment that's going on through it. You know, it takes you through this person's journey, but in that, all of it, there's a lot of reclaiming and growing and changing from song to song.
Yeah, so all different BPMs. Sorry, DJs out there, if you download my song and play it, I appreciate you, but you're in for it because there's a lot of BPM change. I challenged myself to not only work with different BPM ranges, but also different genres. And so I'm very happy with that. I tried to collaborate with many different people, not only just men. I really preferred on this project to work with women, people in the queer community, people that identify as something other than straight female male. And I tried to bring that into my work, and I actually succeeded somewhat. However, in the timeline that I was working with, I didn't land nearly as many collabs as I would have liked to, but I learned a lot as an artist in the process. What CASTLERAVE was to me, the title track, was a melody. So that, the story behind that track, the melody of the piano is a song that was in my head from the day I was born. It might be hard to believe, but awesome. I heard that melody, that haunting but melodic melody, from the moment that I started music. As a small kid, you can ask my parents, you can ask my sister, I walked up to pianos out in public. I sat down, I didn't know how to play a damn piano, but I knew how to play that song. It was it's in a weird time signature. It's technically waltz. I don't even remember the time signature. It was horribly hard to track in my DAW to record it. It took me a million takes because to set the metronome perfectly right, I had to research my own time signature. And so I learned through the process, and when I got it down, I was just like, this is the start of something big. This is the start of me telling my story, my origin story, all the way from my youth. And that haunting melody, I recorded it, and I used a plugin that has these like background noises where it sounds like the chair is squeaking. You can hear the physical press of the keys on the piano. And another big part of my album is soundscape. If you work in film and you have any creative projects that you're working on, please reach out to me. That is a huge goal for Pretty Hard in 2026. I want to score your films.
I love that. It definitely ties back to your cinematic approach to your music. I love the like chair squeaking. It definitely makes you feel like you're there watching the person play the piano, or maybe even sitting in the seat yourself. And you know, in the intro, we debuted a little bit of Off the Leash, which was one of the songs that we've been talking about potentially doing as a collab. Let's talk a little bit about that song, because it's spicy.
Okay, I actually would like to hear how you perceived it first.
Well, you know, originally when that album came out was right around Ready VIP episode 14. And shout out to Hana O, Crop It Like It's Hot.
Shout out.
Yes. We were doing a video for her for the promo piece. And she's a fashion designer who designed Paris Hilton's slit weave outfit for Coachella. And so I wanted it to like have some runway style kind of sexy, you know, music to go with it, but still be in the EDM genre. And at the time I was listening to your album on repeat, as I do. And that song came on and it instantly clicked. I was like, oh, this is a song that needs to be on Hana O's promo. And so I messaged her and I said, hey, look, I want you to listen to this song and I'm going to type the lyrics out for you.
No way, I didn't know
so
this.
That way you know what they say, because I want your approval to use this song because it is a little risque. And she was like, I love it, full send. Right?
Thank you.
But it was giving runway, it was giving like voguing, it was just like the tempo and the attitude and
yes, the confidence.
The confidence and the punctuation just gives, you know, a woman strutting out in her heels or something. Like I just love the power behind it. And so that was my first introduction to the song, and I listened to it 1,000 times to like perfectly line it up. Because if you look at that promo, for anybody who watches the 1-minute promo videos that I make, it pans to her and she's talking, but you don't hear her actual words, but it overlays the audio from the track I'm a sicko, I'm a freak, you should let me off the leash. And then it pans to all the other things. And so I really liked the attitude in that song. And so for me, that's what it screams. It's just like feminine power and attitude.
Wow, thank you so much for that. That is one of my very first tracks doing my own vocals on, which also sound very feminine. That's why they might sound different from what you would expect. You did those vocals? Yes.
No way. The whole time I was like, did Seth do these? Whose voice is that?
No, so I'm super happy that that's, once again, how you perceived it. Off the Leash, to me, was about breaking free from social norms.
Okay.
Which many of the tracks are. And so also, all the way back when I rebranded to Pretty Hard, my concern prior was boxing myself in as an artist. You hear it in not only EDM, but every other genre. Artists say, I feel so boxed in, my fans expect this one thing. And I almost felt like I expected like one thing from myself in the past. And so I said, I want to move into duality and multiplicity. And what spoke to me about the name Pretty Hard is I am a straight male, but I am very feminine, especially a guy that comes from the South. I'm not what you would expect. I was not super feminine growing up. And I think I've only felt comfortable stepping into that as I've gotten older. And it's lovely to have a partner that not only embraces it, but prefers it. She likes that I'm in touch with my emotional side, but I still have that masculine side that can come out and protect anyone that I love and anyone that is in a marginalized community. And so really this was tapping into the feminine side. And I remember when Seth and I first met, we were watching RuPaul's Drag Race a lot.
Oh, wow.
It took me a second to get into it and understand it because of my upbringing. Not that my parents imposed anything on me, but just a lot of individuals around me in my community were very hateful and against things like that. And eventually I was like, this is a community. I was like, this is just drag. It's just like fashion. It's just like the EDM scene. It is a form of raw, unfiltered self-expression. If you look at me on stage, what I do, it's drag. It's all theatrics. It's an extension of myself, but I don't walk around wearing a leather crown in real life. I may wear my leather jacket like I did here today, but I don't have my leather gloves on. And to me, it's just breaking out of my shell, being confident, and once again, cultivating that environment for other people to feel confident.
Absolutely.
And the lyrics to Off the Leash, to me, what they mean is you can sit there and judge me as I'm dancing on the dance floor and having a good time with my rave fam, but eventually it's gonna rub off and you're gonna wanna do it too. You're gonna want to feel that positivity. You can harbor all that anger and judgment for so long before you have a transformation. And I wish the best for those people.
Absolutely. Cheers to that.
Yes, of course. Thank you.
Dungeon Time, man, that song's a banger.
I appreciate that. In my eyes, that has the most mainstream playability. I think especially at festivals, DJs, if you're looking for a rave tool, look into Dungeon Time. It's one of my solo tracks, which also makes me very proud of myself. You know, I will say for a lot of people's first projects, debut albums, EPs, they do tend to deviate from collaborations because they want to really establish that independence in their sound and in their branding. They don't want fans to get confused with other people's sounds. But to be honest, I tried to set my ego aside and my fear aside in that, and I said, let's work together. Let me work with artists that not that I'm just friends with, but that I believe in, and our brands align in some ways, and our brains connect in some ways. And yeah, I really enjoyed that process. Pretty Hard in 2026 looks like really trying to engage more, not only with new fans, but also people that are already supporters in my community. So thank you for watching this. And thank you if you have supported me, and welcome to my beautiful community if you're new here. I promise you will be rewarded with a lot of bootlegs this year specifically. I'm kind of having to put the manager hat on, take my crown off sometimes, so that I can look at things from a business standpoint. And I'm realizing to grow, I need to not only release singles and things that I enjoy, but a lot of people in the community, I don't know how you feel about it, a lot of people love these remixes, flips, bootlegs, edits. It's just something different. And also, it's sharing a gift with other peers in the scene so they can play them in their sets. It's more lighthearted and fun. CASTLERAVE, it has a serious theatrical tone to it, so I want to show that that's not the only side to me as an artist. And what else you can expect from me? I plan to be posting a lot more content. I have a whole note on my phone right now with plenty of ideas for things I want to shoot and release, so that I can, not only promote myself, but express myself, with other people in the community, really show not just who PRETTYHARD is, but who Wyatt Harvey is. I'm in a place of rebirth. I've stepped out of my castle. I'm ready to give you bootlegs. I'm ready to give you whimsy. I'm ready to give you content, self-expression, and outside of my personal and my business life, I really want to, for myself, get into, as I spoke on earlier, scoring. I just went and watched a movie with my mother-in-law and my beautiful wife, and it was the first time in a while. It was great. I noticed myself really looking at the credits, and if you don't know who One O Tricks Point Never is, his legal name is Daniel Lopatin, and he is known for his instrumentals. It's these crazy sounding synth-based instrumentals, and he's a lovely artist, and he moves people in films too.
I love that, and I think that's a wonderful note to end our interview on.
I definitely have boundaries, but please reach out to me if you want to truly be a part of this community. E and Said also call their tribe, and I call my submissives. Everyone has a name for their crew, and it's all love.
Absolutely. Love to the submissives, love to the tribe, all the ready VIPs out there. Do you want to say our closeout phrase?
Absolutely. Stay ready, VIPs.
Dungeon time.
Dungeon time. Dungeon time. Dungeon time. Dungeons. Dungeons.